a pioneer of the Gulf Coast wine scene and award-winning food entrepreneur.
I know a lot of you wonder what to do with your moon pies, so I've got some wine suggestions for you. Lemon moon pies, Sauvignon Blanc, Chenin Blanc, or Pinot Grigio.
Stuart Reb Donald, acclaimed food and travel writer and world-class chef.
I was the chef de casserole. I made the casseroles in the frozen food department.
For more than a decade, they've combined their expertise to answer your questions and introduce you to the culinary movers and shakers you want or ought to know. Wartime Taste Award finalists, 12-time Nephi Award losers. They are the dynamic duo of dining.
Drop, people screaming for more.
Mike and Stu on FM Talk 106.5.
Slowly away, dragon wine. Why slowly away, dragon wine?
Well, if that doesn't get Stu up and working.
Do you know why I do that?
Why? Because we have a camera in the studio?
Well, yeah, actually, but not for what you're thinking. Steve and I talked about this one time when you were out, that sometimes the audio.
Which time was that?
There's so many, I lose track.
Ooh.
No, that sometimes the audio gets messed up on our live stream.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a segment that I want to pull off and do a feature on. Well, I can use the audio from the station's podcast to do that, but it helps if I have a visual cue on the video to line it up so it gets on.
Oh, okay.
So if I'm sitting here pantomiming the lyrics to the song, that helps me line it up.
So does it look like a cheap Chinese Godzilla movie?
No.
Where their lips move and then the words come out
Yeah.
8 seconds later.
That's called synchronization.
Yes. But if I give myself visual clues, I can link it up later.
ADR.
Yeah.
Audio direct result. No.
Okay.
I'm fancy.
Anyway, here we are. The middle of May. Yes. God, this month's will be over with in no time. But
and we can feel it.
a lot going on. A lot going on. People really take advantage of their weather in late March, April, May, and just too many things going on to get out and go see and do. And that, man, a lot of them cost money, but a lot of them are free too. And it just still, you don't have enough your time to split between all of them.
But that's because there's nothing to do in Mobile.
That's right. There ain't a thing to do in Mobile.
No, there's nothing to do.
There's just so much you don't go, and because there's too many things. It's just boggles the mind how many things there are to do in this town.
Well, that is the typical human reaction: is either there's nothing to do or there's too much to do. Well, why don't you just say you'd rather sit on the couch and watch TV? There's nothing wrong.
That's right. No, I'd rather go do stuff. That's what I'd rather do.
You can paddleboard, kayak.
Well, you ain't gonna do any of that now. No, that'll be crazy.
Does that take ever? Are there bugs?
You know,
Not if you move it fast enough. You get some of the tents off.
You ever heard of off?
Thermocell.
There you go.
It's weird that a product like off you gotta have to put on.
Yeah.
It's to keep them off, though. Yeah.
Some people don't like to feel that it's kind of sticky and nasty after a while. But you ever heard of a shower? If you go into the beach and
you can shower more than once a week, Mike.
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind putting the off on or any kind of bug repellent.
Just
like
putting
bug
other people
repellent.
off is what you're worried about.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it was last spring. My niece had been getting into it. She's got a couple of goats. She's doing goat farming and gardening and stuff like that. She was talking about, man, there's just no bug spray that keeps these mosquitoes at bay. She lives in Grand Bay. So they're pterodactyls. And I said, get a Thermocell. And she said, what's that? I said, it's a little pack that you wear on your side. It's a bug repellent that runs off of CO2. And you just kind of punch the button, which lights it, and you just go about your day. The next day I saw on her Facebook, it said, Uncle Stuart was right about the Thermocell.
Cool.
Yeah, they go about $20-25 a pack. You get little refills in them that's citronella. And then it's just enough of the propane burning behind it that it radiates it out. They do not like it.
Yeah.
You can get like table lamp versions to sit on your picnic table outside, and they'll clear a ring of 50 feet around here.
I've seen the bug zappers now that are battery operated or solar operated. So
this doesn't zap, so you don't have bacteria exploding onto your barbecue grill or picnic table, which is one of the
Well,
issues.
actually, you're supposed to put them away from where you sit.
Yeah,
the light draws them over there.
But with the Thermocells, it's just putting out an odor that they don't like.
See, I like the old pick, the old curled up round pick burner. And because growing up, we sat in a car, especially during the wintertime, in a drive-in with carbon dioxide being released into the car.
Man, you're old. Drive-in?
A drive-in with the windows rolled up and speaker hanging there with that horrible.
By drive-in, he means the Globe Theater.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, the Bama Air Show and all that was here in Mobile. And of course, you had to get out.
You put this on the floorboard?
No, you set it on your dashboard. It's got a little metal plate.
Man, I bet that
Pink mosquito repellent.
it sounds like what it was
you were
was
a
a
fun day.
tuberculosis and
You like the end of it.
distributor.
You like the end of it, and it just
Yeah,
slowly
'cause there's
curls.
no danger of setting something on
Yeah.
fire in
Hey,
your car.
He was a fun day.
It's been around for 50, 60 years. They still selling them. We use them on the patio.
Yeah, but now, well, see, that's okay, but in a
Yeah,
confined
that's-
space like a car, it's
Well, we didn't know
not
back then. We didn't know back then.
good. Yeah.
Wow.
It's
I was
like,
just freezing.
we had our bottles of Thunderbird, and that's all we needed.
Yeehaw.
I made gallon screwdrivers. I'd make a big old gallon or pina coladas, and have an ice chest, and we'd go to the drive-in theater and have a few in the
You
trunk.
being the drink guy, do you remember cherry vodka?
Huh?
Oh my gosh. I went to Jaws with a buddy of mine.
Oh,
The first time we saw
that don't
Jaws,
sound good.
and it was in an old Ford pickup. He was a plumber, so he had the T-rack and everything in the back, and it was empty. I had about 4 or 5 of those too many. And I go to walk out the back of that tailgate, and I saw the bar like it's an inch from my face, and I was holding on to it. We were mixing it with Pepsi. I didn't spill a drop.
But of the drink, how
Of
about
the
blood?
drink, yeah, that was the other thing. It's like, yeah.
Golly.
But yeah, that was an interesting. We were talking about Jaws the other day being its 50th anniversary. I was like, that flashback came like,
Well, right over here behind us, there was a dual movie studio right behind where the sports bar is now,
oh really?
and it's gone. They've
Oh
been
yeah,
pulled
over
up.
here, yeah.
Yeah, and I forgot, was it Airport Twin? I forget what it's called, but Jaws was there for over a year. It was on the screen for over a year.
And by the way, folks, Jaws is a food show, just to let you know, because we're the food.
Sometimes shark is sold as scallop.
That's true.
Yeah.
Here's something else. Jaws 3, the one that was in 3D set in Key West
Worst.
with Jeff
Worst.
Bridges, I think, wasn't it?
Or yes.
Part of it was shot about half a mile from us. Gulf Coast Divers, which is right back here off the boat, has the deepest indoor swimming pool in the Southeast United States. It's, I believe it's 25 feet.
That's where I got certified at.
Yeah, that's where I dove. And Bob, great instructor, but they needed that pier scene where they're out on the pier and the shark comes up.
Mm-hmm.
They needed a controlled indoor pool where they could shoot that scene. So they rented it, and it was shot right down there.
Very cool.
And
In the
y'all,
same city as Close Encounters, man. We got all the 70s covered.
I didn't know they had
That's
Close
right.
Encounters here.
Yeah, we just shot a lot of that movie here.
Really?
yeah, just about, just
Well,
about
the house that the little boy lived in, right across the bay in Baldwin County, still
it's
open.
still there. They're going to move it though.
Hmm.
They're going to move it they're going to relocate it.
Yeah, there's about 8 different railroad stops around town that people said were the ones from the movie. One on Overlook Road, which was dug up at the same time, and I think maybe they were going to use it and then didn't.
No, they went down to
Yeah,
they went down there to Irvington area.
and
did
the
that.
spaceship
That makes sense.
the spaceship at the end was at a hangar at Brookley Field.
That's where Singapore, whatever, now they're something else. They said, "What's this building used for?" He says, "Nothing. It's empty." And then they started bringing in all the
Props and everything else.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll
But,
check that out.
but yeah, there's been a lot of concern, and there's 2 Facebook pages I know about Close Encounters, and they follow that house on 181 at 104. They follow it like crazy. They're scared it's going to get bulldozed. And I say, no, I'll send them the news articles from the area. And I said, it's safe. They are going to relocate it though.
Yeah.
To a different area.
And then the neighborhood that they lived in, that
That's it's still.
I know that was local. It was a brand new neighborhood at the time,
Mhm.
fairly
Yeah.
new, wasn't
I heard that they sold the house as is.
it?
The movie company sold it
with,
as is.
with a big Devil's Tower in the middle of the living room.
251-343. 106 is the call and text line. Hey, when we come back, we're going to talk about languages
And stuff.
and stuff.
It's a great evening when I really cowboys are come from near and far when you throw a few guys on the far.
The Lanyap Reader's Choice Awards finalists have been announced. And FM Talk 1065 is thrilled to be a part of Nephews and Paradise. And what's Paradise without a great sunrise? For Best Morning Show, Mobile Mornings featuring Dan Brennan and Dalton Orwig. Time for the Best DJ Team, Dan and Dalton, and Mike and Stu of Sip and Chew. For Best Talk Show Host, Dalton Orwig, Dan Brennan, Jeff Poor, and Sean Sullivan. For Best Lifestyle Show, Coasting and Retirement, Plain Living with Bill Finch, that's how it works, and Sip and Chew with Mike and Stu. And for the best overall radio personality, Dalton Orwig and Sean Sullivan. Now we're talking. Nephews and Paradise. Cast your vote May 7th through June 1st at votenappies.com. Winners revealed July 16th. Celebrate the best of the best on the Gulf Coast with FM Talk 1065.
Back in studio with my man Hal from Ultra Wash. Sean, we're also busy. Kids are in sports, got hunting, fishing, just life in general. Ultra Wash is here to help get your home back in shape. Okay, go get in shape with that home. Call Hal for an estimate today at 366-5291.
If you have unfiled taxes or in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-517-9383. That's 800-517-9383. 800-517-9383.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
I'm Pam Cook from Coca-Cola United. We're proud sponsors of the 2025 Don't Drop It on Alabama statewide spring cleanup taking place throughout the month of April. Along with Alabama People Against Illegal State, we invite everyone to participate. We're counting on our counties, cities, schools, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, churches, neighborhoods, and volunteer groups to help. PALS will provide trash bags, recycling bags, and all the materials for the cleanup. For more information on how you and your group can get involved, go to alpals.org.
Sponsored by Alabama Pals, Coca-Cola United, ABA, and this station.
Imagine working for a local and collaborative company. FM Talk 1065 is hiring a motivated sales associate to join our passionate team. Email your resume to info@fmtalk1065.com. Podcast LLC info
What happened?
To get on the line, call 343-0106. Now back to Mike and Stu.
All righty, we're back. I want to mention real quick, the motion picture industry, especially when it's the big motion picture companies, they come to town, they spend a lot of money. They hire caterers like crazy. I know during Under Siege, when they filmed the Battleship, they were in town over a year, I think it was, filming. And Steven Seagal and his wife, time they rented a place on Mobile Bay over in Fairhope, and they went and got a bunch of antique furniture at some of the local stores and that they filled the house with. And I understand they bought all that and took it with them.
And then divided it in half.
Yeah, but the Wash House in Point Clear,
Wonderful restaurant.
great restaurant. They would serve their regular dinner till closing, and then they'd get ready for all the actors and the filming crew, and they would come in here and eat like at 11 at night, and eat till 1 in the morning, and but that went on for months and months and months. So they were pumping a lot. And then in the ship scene where they got all the food and the cake laid out and all the food there was from Winslow's Old Bay steamer, because I had wine. We provided the wine, Firestone Winery, in that movie. And 1 week, Brooks Firestone, his wife, happened to be in town. I said, hey, we used your wine in the scene in the movie that they're filming right now. And he said, Steve's in town? And I'm like, Steve's in town? Does he know it? He said, yeah, I sold about 10 acres of my vineyard to him. And all was good and, back in those days there. But I also understand too that over there off Carlisle where the house was, they filmed the outside scenes from Close Encounters, that the movie production company, they had like all the streets blocked off, with tractor trailer rigs, all the equipment. Anyway, they fed the neighborhoods, what I was told. They catered in the food to feed the neighborhood. Wow. In there for during some of the filming. And I think that's cool. They do. And I know at the Brick Pit, there was a movie filmed there next door, and it took about a week for them to shoot in that location, but they came over every day. The actors and everything came over to the Brick Pit and ate every day. Yeah. And then they hired us to open up on Sunday to feed them for the last day of shoot.
Well, think about it. If they're not from, Texas, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Missouri, Carolinas, they've not had real barbecue, especially in the time. There are other parts of the country that are doing really good barbecue now. God, was it Dinosaur Barbecue in New York City is one of the best in the world. This guy went to all the other regions, learned every one of their styles, and he mimics it in New York. But for most people that aren't from this 1/4 of the U.S., which includes, Missouri, Oklahoma, states like that, Arkansas, that also do barbecue well. Kentucky does barbecue mutton, which is goat or sheep, full-grown sheep. And it's not like anything else you've had. Absolutely. Have you seen videos of British people trying Texas barbecue?
Well, I know at the Brick Pit, people used to come in from Europe, and they would take the United States and divide it up into quarters, and then they'll come and they'll travel that entire quarter of the country, and then on their next holiday, which is usually about like 4 weeks for them, they come back and do the other quarter. And I met people from all over Europe and Australia that would come in and say, we don't have this down there. We don't have, and this kid from Switzerland, he was a teenager with his parents. And I said, go back and take this idea to Switzerland. I'm sure y'all got some kind of form of barbecue there. But he said, we don't have this.
No, barbecue is original to the Gulf area that Columbus encountered in his first voyages, and he saw the natives cooking meat over kind of an open pit, and which it apparently never stumbled upon in Europe or Asia,
which I find very odd, considering the barbarians.
Yeah, well, all barbarian means is you're not a born Roman citizen.
That's what I meant by that was,
now they cooked on open fire, but they didn't use the smoke as a flavor ingredient. They were using the flame as a heat source.
And everybody, Texas has got mesquite. Here we do a lot of pecan, and I'm on a couple sites.
The mesquite thing in Texas is more a product of marketing than it is actual use. There are parts of Texas that use mesquite because it's all they've got, but most of it's post oak. Yeah, especially your big barbecue places: Austin, Houston, Dallas, San Antonio. It's post oak.
Yeah. Well, here I'm just thinking that pecan was so popular because they grow so fast,
and it's a pecan area. I mean, prior to Hurricane Camille, Dawes, Alabama produced more pecans than any place else in the world.
Yeah. Well, there's still a lot of pecan trees out there, and every time there's a storm, there's pecan for barbecue, and it's such a distinctive flavor. It is. It really is. And some places they'll do 75% pecan, 25 oak of some sort. Yeah. I hate to see our big, beautiful live oaks but
not a whole lot of live. It's usually white oak or post oak.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say, because Bill Finch has always said, they start dying once they come out of the ground. About 25 years.
Yeah, that's water oaks.
Water oaks, and but they still got a good distinctive oak flavor to them.
Yeah.
But I would
not
say,
a lot of hickory here, simply because there's not a lot of hickory trees here.
Yeah.
But always throwing hickory nuts onto your charcoal. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know you can go places. A lot of places sell different types of wood from different areas of the country, like apple and.
Academy Sports is one of the best places in the world to go if you want to get seriously into barbecuing and smoking and everything. They'll have the wood chips. Cherry wood is really good. Apple wood is good.
Applewood.
They have pecan.
What's the place over in Robertsdale, the meat place?
I almost said Mosley's, but that's
Aaron's place.
Yeah. Keep talking.
They have they used to have a great selection of woods and that you can use for barbecuing and smoking.
Yeah, farm fresh meats.
Farm fresh meats. Yeah, you used to walk in there and the floor was covered underneath the meat cases with all the different types of wood you could smoke. Yeah, and I do. I haven't used my smoker in a while, but I'm planning on it this summer.
Smoking the South's best sausage since 1976. How's that for a cell line?
It sounds like they're a new one.
No.
That's 1976.
Is that Mecca or?
No, that's Farm Fresh.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, man. What you want to look for when you're over that way, Steve, on a Saturday, is keep an eye on their Facebook page, because they will fry fresh pork rinds.
Ooh.
And they're like the ones you've had at Mexican markets, where one pork rind is bigger than your head.
Right.
Yeah, and that's it. You get one pork rind. It's
Nothing
that.
little bitty.
Yeah, and as soon as you bite into them, it's just pure.
I love when they're still popping.
Yeah. So
5,
keep
10
an
minutes later.
keep an eye on Farm Fresh's Facebook page on the weekends to see if they're putting up, because it'll be like, all right, we just got a whole batch of pork rinds up. They're here until they're out.
Wow.
And you got to, if you're not close by, you ain't getting them.
Do they have dipping sauce?
You don't need.
Me and Roy.
That once I about fell out.
There's a place there's a bar in the French Quarter called Muddy River Bottom, and they got a food truck in the back, permanent. They got a courtyard, and man, they got the best doggone fried pork rinds.
I give you one better.
Well,
You're in New Orleans, but it's a little pricier. Cochon, Donald Link's pork-centered restaurant,
that makes sense.
does a pork rind dessert where you dip it into chocolate.
Ooh, that makes plenty of sense to me.
And it is supposed to be. I haven't had it. I had a friend that her boyfriend took her there for Valentine's Day, and they just had a pork tasting menu.
Valentine's Day and better pork rinds to chocolate.
Yeah. And she said it was the best. She said it was the best course of the meal.
Oh, wow.
And I've, Cochon Butcher, which is right around the corner from Cochon. That's the best sandwich shop in New Orleans. Unbelievable. That's the home of the duck pastrami slider, which looks like a grilled cheese sandwich with a thin slice of meat in it. It's the best sandwich on the planet. It's so perfect. Mike, if you added bacon, you would ruin the sandwich.
Wow.
If you added extra cheese, you would ruin it because it's so perfectly balanced.
I'm going to tell you, just this morning on CBS Sunday Morning, the entire show was about New Orleans. The architecture, the culture, the...
You mean Mobile 2.0?
Well, the food mainly was what they were covering. And at the very, very end, they never talked about Mardi Gras in the whole show, but at the very, very end, they spoke of Mardi Gras, but it said it first started in Mobile.
As did Creole.
Like an afterthought.
As did gumbo.
And and there was... We'll talk about it. Okay. 251-343-0106 is the call and text line.
By the way, we get Cookie. She wants to talk noodles and casserole.
Okay, cool.
Gets drunk, start singing all night, drinking wine, spoon you to drink wine, pop, pop, wine, spoon you to drink wine, pop, pop, wine, spoon you to drink wine, pop, pop, pass that bottle to me.
This information update brought to you by Roy Lewis Construction, delivering unparalleled value and quality on new construction in commercial and industrial applications. Roy Lewis Construction, building legacies one relationship at a time. Licensed in Alabama, Florida, and Mississippi.
FM Talk 106.5, the Gulf Coast Weather Authority, and Dr. Bill Williams.
The Gulf Coast can expect mostly sunny skies today with temperatures in the upper 80s this afternoon. Tonight, mostly cloudy, lows in the lower 70s. And for Monday, mostly sunny, with highs in the upper 80s. This is meteorologist Dr. Bill Williams for FM Talk 106.5.
FM Talk 106.5, the Gulf Coast Weather Authority.
For more than 50 years, Mobile Bay Magazine has showcased the history, style, arts, dining, and entertainment that defines excellence on both sides of Mobile Bay. Each month's issue is filled with our unique Southern Alabama culture, beautifully captured and told through engaging articles and stunning photography. When you subscribe to Mobile Bay Magazine, you'll be swept into the pages where recipes, familiar places and faces, and untold stories abound. Start your journey today by visiting mobilebaymag.com. That's mobilebaymag.com.
Dan Brennan here, inviting you to join the community at Legacy Oaks in Spring Hill. You'll find everything you need to live the convenient and carefree lifestyle you deserve. If you're looking for your next home in Mobile, hey, I found it at Legacy Oaks. It's a charming community of 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments located in the heart of the city, just off Dauphin and I-65. Inside the spacious floor plans, you'll discover cozy interiors complete with gas range, a gas fireplace, and each unit comes with an attached garage. Outside your apartment, you'll love the amenities like pool and a clubhouse that includes a conference room and workout room. These provide the perfect opportunity to relax and enjoy the company of neighbors. As a resident of Legacy Oaks at Spring Hill, you'll also enjoy easy access to the area's most popular shopping, dining, and entertainment destinations, and still minutes from downtown. Reach out today for more information. Call 251-344-8099 and find out more at legacyoaksatspringhill.com.
Yeah. What's the point?
If you drive an F-Series or any other extended cab truck and the back doors won't open, give us a call at Gulf Coast Auto Tech. We can often repair the doors for hundreds less than a dealership. Your hunting buddies will thank you.
Call Gulf Coast Auto Tech on Halls Mill Road.
Hello again, friends. I'm Randy Bergen, inviting you to join me, Coach Rick Cleveland, and Coach Mark Lassiter for the Thompson Tractor Sports Report. We'll be coming to you live from the Eastern Shore Toyota and Hyundai Studios for 2 hours beginning at 8 a.m. every Saturday morning. We'll visit with coaches, athletes, administrators, and more as we'll keep you up to date on all things prep along the Gulf Coast and the state of Alabama. Wake up with the Prep Sports Report team this Saturday morning starting at 8 a.m. right here on FM Talk 106.5.
To get on the line, call 343-0106. Now back to Mike and Stu.
Michael.
Yes.
I understand we have a caller on the line.
Who is that?
The president of the United West Mobile. Cookie, what you want to talk about noodles and casserole?
Well, first of all, I'm certainly not the United anything.
She is an autonomous collective all to herself.
Except for people who are hungry and need to be fed. That's what I've been working on all my life. And like it or not, sometimes I was just dragged into it, like being the oldest of 7 kids. Excuse me. And other times when I just voluntarily said, these people are hungry. I need something to eat. And noodles are very, noodles, rice, all those things and beans put together are really good casserole de chef. So you tell me, a casserole de chef of the prison?
Of the prison? No. Was it at Naaman's Market when Alec opened the little market on Old Shell, Florida Street in Flo Shell. I was in charge of making the casseroles for the frozen dinner. Alec does his own casseroles in his frozen dinner sections.
I have the utmost respect, as do you, for Mr. Naaman.
Yeah.
Have you ever realized that his name is a palindrome?
Well, I hadn't thought about it before. So Sims. So is Sims.
You know what that means?
That it's spelled the same way frontwards and backwards.
Yeah. All right, we're on the same page. Okay. Anyway, really, my little question for you is, if you were the because I don't know, maybe casseroles are palindrome, right? But I've heard that making ramen noodles involves the soda water. And my question is, does that mean that you add the soda water in to when you're making the noodles, or when you are cooking the noodles?
I think what you're actually thinking.
When they're fresh.
Yeah.
I'm asking all three questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think you're so brilliant. You will be able to answer all, right?
Actually, what you were confusing it with, and that's is how, we go from, hey, that dude Paul Bunyan chopped down that tree to Paul Bunyan had a blue ox, is, word of mouth, things change.
Wait, you listen to me. What the heck about Paul Bunyan? How did he come into noodles?
Yeah, but what you're actually probably confusing it with is a lot of times in Asian cuisine, when they're finishing a dish off, especially one of the noodle dishes that has a good broth, they will pour a little bit of Sprite into the broth at the end. The bubbles and the citrus kind of open it up and make it a little brighter flavor.
Kind of like if you're tending bar and you do a layer mixture, say, and you put the heavier sugary stuff on the bottom. Now this can be any size glass. Y'all got to remember. Or you put another lighter just above it so that it won't float. You got to do this fast. And then you put the liqueur on the top.
You were referring to a B-52.
Say again?
The most common drink like that is the B-52. It has 3 distinct layers. I believe the bottom is Bailey's Irish Cream.
I'm referring to drinks that have way more than the B-52. Okay?
They have like 8 layers.
I know older people than you guys.
Yeah. So that's usually.
I'm not trying to be insulting. I'm just saying that that's the truth. Okay.
Yeah. But I think what you're referring to with the noodles is the Sprite into the broth right before service, so that it opens the sauce up, makes it brighter. So it's really
talking into the spike into the noodles.
Never heard of it.
The noodles.
Never heard of it. I'll have to give it a try.
Okay, well, I thought you'd know, and that's why I called you. And I guess, look, if I find out, I will call you back and tell you. And
excellent. So I'm always willing to learn something new.
Announce it or whatever, because I don't want to interfere with your home life. Okay?
All right, Cookie.
But I will call and leave the question at the station. Love you. Bye.
All right.
Thank you.
So, Michael.
Yes.
You hit me up with a
I did
thing yesterday. You tell the world your thoughts.
Let me tell you, I've been lately in my day job, been getting a lot of Hispanic restaurant business.
Latin
and most of them are all from Mexico that I'm dealing with.
Because like Jamaican is not Hispanic, but it's still Latin.
Yeah, but my brother-in-law was a missionary in Spain for 18 years.
Mm-hmm.
They all speak Spanish.
Right.
All of them. Mexico has the most Spanish-speaking residents there are. I think Colombia was number 2.
Yeah.
United States.
So these are huge nations compared to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, think about how many nations speak English compared to how big England is.
Yeah, and but when the Spaniards came over here, and like a lot of Europeans did, when they came over here, they brought some of their cultures with them.
Yeah, and they burned the ones that were here.
And going to Miami, the few times I've been down there, you get a heavy European feel of everything.
Right, it's a coastal city for one thing.
Yeah, and it's a halfway point between Europe and South America too, and Central America. So I've had some interesting meals in in Miami itself, and paella is probably my favorite dish. But Spanish food and Mexican food, I mean, I got to say, why, I don't see any Spanish influence in Mexican food at all.
No, there is some. I pulled it up on the AI just to see what a computer thinks about comparing and contrasting. It says Spanish and traditional Mexican cuisine share some historical influences, but have distinct characteristics that set them apart. The ingredients that you'll find in Spanish food, which I love, is olive oil, garlic, saffron, seafood like cod, fresh anchovies, not out of a can, squid, love it, octopus, cured meats like jamon and chorizo. Jamon is ham. The jamon serrano, which is the ham you find in Spain most, it's a process almost identical to prosciutto in Italy. I think it's a little bit better. And then the jamon empirico is the finest ham in the world.
You say that. My brother-in-law that lived in Spain, they will buy one and have it shipped.
Yeah.
And that's what they eat, especially during the holiday season.
Yeah. The jamon empirico is the finest pork in the world. These are pigs that eat exclusively acorns. So their meat has a distinct nuttiness to them. And you're not going to find a lot of spices because this cuisine evolved largely before the Columbian Exchange, which is what we refer to as the cultural exchange between the Old World and the New World that resulted after Columbus's first visit to the New World. And that's because Europe did not have tomatoes. They didn't have chili peppers. They didn't have corn or maize.
Right.
They didn't have beans. They didn't have squash or the squash that we have here. That all went there. Well, they also brought things here that were from the New World, like the saffron and the chickpeas and stuff like that. Mexican cuisine is based mainly on the indigenous ingredients. So it's corn, beans, chili peppers, tomatoes, avocados, fresh herbs and stuff. But the chili peppers, that's your main difference. They didn't have that in Spain. So Spanish food tends to be milder. In fact, any cuisine that focuses on saffron, it's a very mild flavor, distinct, delicious. But if you have strong flavors in it, you're going to overpower it and not notice it's there. And that's one of the things that really makes paella sing is the saffron. So first thing you do is you put olive oil in the bottom of the pan, you throw your threads of saffron in it. So you're infusing the oil you're going to cook with the saffron. And then you go to building your different layer. Paella is a wonderful dish, takes a while, but there are dishes that are found on both sides, and paella is one, but then there are variations of it. There's a Cuban paella, there's Puerto Rican, like that. But the most famous New World paella is Creole jambalaya, which is paella when it got to New Orleans, and the Cajun people started incorporating this dish that was already there. Well, what they knew how to do and the ingredients that were found there in Louisiana, you came up with jambalaya.
In Miami for those.
Okay.
Saraland, Chickasaw. You can go when you live in an apartment complex or a condo down by the pool, all of them have grills. You got grills down there, cemented into the ground. They have paella stations where you can make paella. Like you would go down there grilling.
Gene Fox is a master of paella. He grew up in the Tampa Bay area where it's still very huge there as well. And then, we're familiar with the traditional Mexican food. One thing that we all know in Mexican food here is the tortilla. It's either corn or flour. It's a flatbread, unleavened. You roll it out, you grill it just a little bit, and you use it as a utensil. And that's something you don't see here in the U.S. In Mexico, there are no forks on the table. Anything they cook, you take a tortilla, get a bite full, and throw it in your mouth.
Well, I eat a lot of I eat Mexican food sometimes maybe twice a week. Maybe twice a week. And it just made me wonder what influences Spain, even though these people are descendants of Spain.
Actually, Mexicans got a lot of Aztec in it too.
Yeah, it's Mesoamerican. It's more indigenous. Well, the tortilla is where I was linking that. There's a dish called tortilla in Spain. It is not a flatbread. It is closer to an Italian frittata or an English omelet. It is a baked, it is a baked egg dish that goes in a pan in the oven. That's tortilla. Yeah, I think it probably has some kind of root word that basically means round and flat.
Makes sense. 251-343-0106 is the Callahan's Irish. No, it ain't.
No, it's just talk line.
Just talk line.
Just talk to us. But we do love Callahan's Irish Social.
Oh, I ain't been there so long. I gotta go.
Chicken ice cream
dish.
I like ice cream. What's this? This is juice.
What's funny
This
is
is
he's taught
juice.
himself every time he has to do the numbers since they quit being
A great selection of handguns, long guns, accessories, and gear. That's what you'll find at Sabertooth Arms of Mobile, a local veteran-owned firearms store close to downtown, on Government Street, and online at sabertootharms.com. 12 months same as cash. Sabertooth Arms. Do you like following your favorite high school sports teams? Do you want to know more about the actions of state, county, and city leaders? Do you want a newspaper that speaks to you and your interests? If you answered yes, you should be reading the Call News. Since first published in 1897, the Call News has reported on the issues that matter to the people of South Alabama and continues to be ranked as one of Alabama's best weekly newspapers. Purchase the Call News at many grocery and convenience stores in South Alabama, including Walmart, Rouse's, and Circle K's. And if your favorite store doesn't have it, let us know and we'll make it available. If you want the Call News delivered to your home, we can do that too, for less than $1 per week. Call us today, 251-866-5998. That's 251-866-5998. Or visit us online, thecallnews.com, and get connected to the Call News.
One thing's for sure, she ain't ever
You know you want one, a new e-bike. So come see me at Adventure Earth Bicycles for your new two-wheel freedom machine. Adventure Earth Bicycles in Midtown at the corner of Airport and Wildflower. Adventure Earth Bicycles, everything inside to get you outside.
Your customers deserve the best, and so do you. You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation. CAT 255 compact track loader from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best. And this machine has it all, with features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Best of all, now Thompson Tractor is making that investment even better with our workhorse special. Get 0% financing for 36 months on the purchase of a new CAT 255 compact track loader that comes with a 3-year warranty. You also get a 74-inch bucket and 1,000-hour filter kit. But hurry, this offer is only good through June 30th. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
Tune in to Retire Right Radio with Paul Roberts.
Let's make sure that no matter how old and wise you grow in life, that you don't grow old and broke.
Paul is the president and chief wealth advisor with Roberts Wealth Management.
And these are some of the largest life-changing decisions you'll ever make in your lifetime. I want to make as many memories from 62 to 82 as I can.
Tune in to Retire Right Radio with Paul Roberts, Saturdays at 3 p.m. right here on FM Talk 106.5.
Storm season coming.
Mike Bailey, Stuart Rev Donald, devoted to the complete gastronomic experience.
I want a big butter and eggman.
Mike and Stu on FM Talk 106.5.
So, Michael, it is beginning to be one of your favorite sports seasons of the year.
Yours?
No, sports.
No, that is sport.
No, it's not.
Our category is.
Yeah. Women's softball college softball is now in their playoff stage.
Good. I love women's softball. It's more fast paced than men's baseball.
I love college baseball way more than the pro. Well, let's face it, that's why they're losing millions of viewers every year. It's a dull game. It's outdated. But with college baseball, you have enough errors and the parks are just small enough, you have enough home runs, it stays interesting. And like Auburn and Ole Miss played this week. Ole Miss had a great series, came out and just spanked us Friday night. Then they won, or Thursday night. Friday they won 11-10. And then Saturday, Auburn came out and smoked them 13-8, but was behind by 5 runs at one point.
Jeez.
And won by 5 runs. That's fun. It's back and forth. You watch an MLB game and some team gets up 3-0, it's over, pretty much. I mean, you could sit there and watch the rest of the 9 innings, hoping somebody hits a grand slam.
Right. I tell you, have you ever seen the Savannah Bananas?
I have seen a bunch of stuff about it.
They did a game the other night, and they were all wearing black light colored, fluorescent clothing, and it was all the black lights,
glow sticks.
It was hilarious. They had the black light shining on the field, and their uniforms. You could just see them out there. Their hats. Their
well, I bring up the subject. When you're sitting at Heroes, either downtown or West Mobile, watching a women's softball playoff game, what are you eating? Because that's the only place you go watch a women's softball game for the most part. It's a sports bar.
Yeah. I know a couple of bars.
Wing guy.
But
onion rings, baby.
Could be wings. But I'm a burger. Heroes, I do like the collards, though.
Yeah. And that spinach crawfish dip is phenomenal.
I used to eat a shrimp basket all the time. Shrimp basket. Scrimps. But I'm the burger. I want the burger when I go to Heroes.
Yeah. Well, just for anything, you don't have a specific thing for softball like you might have a specific thing for football.
Not me. Well, what you getting at?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just curious as to no. I was just curious as to whether because you were people that Mike really does enjoy the women's college softball. It's a great sport.
Well, I don't know how they can sling their arm that fast and without throwing it out and having problems later on in life.
Their body is built differently than a man.
Whereas women's tennis, they do have that problem.
Right.
And other sports, but you got men's baseball, they're always throwing over arm, and they're always having the problems with their arms. Yeah. But women's softball, they don't never have problems.
Yeah. Is it unmanly for me to say that I like their spinach and crawfish dip?
No, we were just talking about that.
Oh,
man, it's good. Yeah. Steve was over there producing, didn't hear us talking about that part.
I'm sorry.
But he was just staring at a picture.
I was just thinking of this.
But the hero burger,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then every now and then you get lucky and catch David Rass in there.
Just about every time I go in, I run into David.
Downtown, I do.
He's hard to miss. Between him, Pete, Tony, we could have one heck of a basketball team in downtown, and David Chipman.
Yeah.
Get the bar on it, and then have Noel Broughton be the point guard.
It was good seeing Noel.
It was, folks. We got to tell you about that real quick. Pete Bloom invited us over to the fundraiser that they did for the veterans at the Waterfront. And it was a who's who of restaurant glitterati in the Mobile area. And we saw Frankie Little.
Glitterati?
Yeah, glitterati.
Oh, okay.
Read some Pink Floyd sometime.
I'm going to have to get into it. I'm a Pink Floyd fan. I haven't heard that one. Go ahead.
And yeah, I'll tell you, because it's actually food related. Meatpacking glitterati.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought because you like paparazzi.
Yeah, well, the actual word's literati. Glitterati meant glam version.
Okay.
But Argero from over there in Silver Hills, the restaurant's the Acadiana Cafe, I believe. That is just one of the great men that I've gotten to meet, thanks to Pete putting us together and stuff. But it was such a great event. Tom Claxton, who also does a show here on the stage, was front and center in all of it.
My old baseball coach when I was a little kid.
Yeah. They did play together in Babe Ruth Dixie League. They played together with Babe Ruth.
Wow.
Close.
Wow.
But it was a great event raising money for this new veteran center that's just gorgeous.
It is gorgeous.
That is available. We will be putting together a video that I'll put out in the next day or so, showing you some of the highlights from it and what a great experience it was. The Waterfront is just the perfect name for that place.
It is. I mean,
And there's so much seating on the waterfront.
Houses being on the water is a perfect name for it.
Yeah.
It's a great it's a great place to watch sunsets.
Yeah.
One of the best places on
the sunset we got that night. I happened to get it lined up, Steve, so that big Alabama State dock gear was in front of that boiling red ball of sun. The great setting. And when I look at it, I'm like, man, this is the camera on the phone. I actually show the little black spot on the sun. You know, there's a dark spot on it.
Yeah.
It actually shows up in the picture because there was enough fog or cloud cover, overcast, that it filtered the light coming from the sun. You could see the actual stuff going on. Great picture. And it'll be in the video. So look for that on our Facebook page or our YouTube page.
Yes.
And
do you guys ever post this? I go seldom to the page, but do you guys ever get the chance to post recipes rather?
We share other people's stuff.
Okay.
I have posted, I used to have a weekly recipe of the week that I posted on my own Facebook page, but I haven't done it in years because it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So essentially, you know, you do that for a year, you've written a cookbook.
Let everybody else do it for you.
Well, there's a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah.
Of course,
And it takes time to sit down and write out a recipe.
It does. You know, I do what day it is. Like today is
right. Yeah.
Cheese souffle, and also today is National I Love Reese's Peanut Butter Cup Day.
Oh yeah. They ain't near what they used to be. I'm sorry, but there's something different about
They're a little thin.
High fructose corn syrup.
They're a little thinner too.
Yeah.
They don't have a crunch to them anymore.
You know, they're just too sweet. There's something that, you know, when you get to
that's the other thing with the high fructose corn syrup. We all noticed it when Coke went away with real Coke, did the no Coke thing. That was just to cleanse our palates for a year and a half so that they could change the recipe to high fructose corn syrup.
Evil.
And
Just
when it
evil.
came back, and if you get a Mexican Coke, we call it, but it's the Coke made with cane sugar.
Yeah.
There's a distinct difference, and the one with high fructose corn syrup is much sweeter. Cheerwine, a great drink from the Carolinas, a cherry flavored drink. Coca-Cola purchased it, changed the recipe to high fructose corn syrup, and now it's cloyingly sweet.
Now go over to the Mexican restaurant, Tortilleria, ENH.
Tortilleria.
Tortilleria, yeah, you don't say the else. Tortilleria over 181, just past 64, and it's in some warehouses.
That's
and they got a
quality.
huge store. They got all their drinks are agave.
Yes.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Well, folks, we got to get up on out of
We
here.
sure do.
We got to make sure that those servers are doing what? Earning those tips?
Earning their tips, folks. Please tip the server. Everybody's still struggling right now. And go out and support local and be local.
Yep. And also, provolone.
All right. You might think it's out there really, or just a little bit off. We need their barbecues, yeah, with the mustard. So.
Imagine working for a company where your ideas matter and you're not just a number in the corporate system. FM Talk 1065 is looking for a driven, persuasive sales associate to connect to local businesses with our local audience. This commission-based role offers flexibility, a chance to develop smart marketing, and the ability to grow your sales goals. Imagine working with a small, passionate, and locally owned team. Email your resume to info@fmtalk1065.com. Bickler Broadcast LLC is an equal opportunity employer.
Tom Claxton and Cal Walters, a couple of old Marines giving a little weekday R&R refuge to stimulate your senses.
I always have one part of hydrate. I haven't seen people. So if I'm eating spaghetti with meat sauce, no
The Scuttlebutt Network radio program every Wednesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. on FM Talk 1065. Your voice of the veterans.